Hello, everybody, and welcome to In the Doll World. I'm your host, Georgette Taylor, and as always, I'm so excited to just bring you amazing guests to the show. And today we have another amazing guest. Her name is Diana Jones. She is the owner of Dolls Magazine. Thank you so much, Diana, for joining us today on In the Doll World.
I'm so excited to be here with you. So thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. I'm so excited to talk to you about Dolls Magazine and also your journey with that. Can you share a little bit about who you are, where you come from? What was your journey with dolls before you even started becoming the owner of Dolls Magazine?
Sure. I have quite the varied background. This is not where I thought I would be. So as a kid, I collect. I wouldn't say I collected dolls.
Okay.
I I cut their hair. You change their outfits. You make them look the way you want them to
Mm-hmm.
be, and you
Mm-hmm.
put the outfits on that you want, and you
Right.
create little vignettes. At that time, I would never have called it a vignette, but they had
So
their
you wouldn't know
house.
what that was, right?
No, but we had an extensive collection of blocks, and I loved building homes for my
Nice.
dolls. And over time, as I grew up and went to college, dolls stayed back at my house.
Mm-hmm.
The interesting thing though is my mom, she started actually making dolls
Oh.
when I at the end of my high school career and into college. So
Mm-hmm.
I was as when you contacted me, I was like, oh my gosh, my mom did this. And it's like I had forgotten. So I
Mm-hmm.
called her. She actually sent me some pictures
Oh,
of
that's
the
so
dolls she
cool.
had done. And she goes, Diana, don't be impressed. She's like, she goes, I bought the bodies, I bought the heads, and I bought wigs, and I put them all together. And I was like, don't worry, Mom. And then she said to me, she goes, and I think your grandmother, she was a my grandmother was a ceramics teacher. She goes,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure she did porcelain dolls. And I was
Porcelain
like, oh
dolls,
my gosh.
yes. That
So
is
I had
so
no
cool.
idea. So, it was so just by you contacting me about
Mm-hmm.
this, it kind of brought some stuff out of the woodwork. Uh,
Oh, that's
and then
nice.
went to college. I actually got my degree in microbiology that I am not
Microbiology.
using.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. And then I had 7 kids, and then, life just kind of
Okay,
takes
wait. Let's back
turns.
up. Let's back up. Microbiology and 7 children.
Yes,
Diana.
yes.
Okay, well, you were busy. You had a lot going
Yeah,
on.
I had no time for much of anything. So, which is fine. But
Right.
yes, so I had this, my goal was to be a microbiologist and work in
Mm-hmm.
a lab and create things that way. And then as life takes you on different
Yep.
journeys, you end up not where you think you will.
Right.
And we moved up to this small town, Iola, Wisconsin, which is where I currently reside. And my
Mhm.
father-in-law actually owned Dolls Magazine. And
Okay.
actually, we started off. We had over the course of many, many years.
Hmm.
I should have looked back when he started, but we had doll reader,
Right.
doll crafter and
Mm-hmm.
costuming, doll artisan,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and over time, all of those titles ended up, kind of melding into another one, just as kind
Right.
of as the market had changed,
Mm-hmm.
and we actually used to run the I think it's the Dolls Expo that was
Yes.
out in DC and out on the
Mm-hmm.
East Coast,
Yep.
and I think our last one was 2010,
Mm-hmm.
and I joined the company in 2011, and I kind of worked my way through in different areas, but I started as an editor of a totally different publication. And then by 2014, I was the operations manager. And that's when I realized I really love the company. My father in law wanted to retire. And I was like, so I approached him in 2016
Mm-hmm.
and I said, hey, what do you think?
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a different family member, I'll just say.
Right. Okay.
That's where it
I
gets a
got.
little tricky and complicated.
I
Uh,
understand.
that that was going to take over the company.
Gotcha.
But they really didn't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I love what I do. And so that's
Mm-hmm.
when I kind of approached him about, hey, what do you think? And he was like, this idea has merit. And I said, well, he said, go ahead and push it forward. The
Oh,
other person
nice.
was like, this is a win-win-win for everybody.
Right.
Go for it, Diana. And a year later, I acquired the company. Yeah. So before that time, though, as operations manager, I was involved in all of the production of the
Right.
magazines
Okay.
and just everything that kind of went along with it. Not as much content, but
Hmm.
when I knew I was buying the company, I was like, I need to get in. There were other people that had been doing the different things, and so that's when
Right.
I started really getting involved. And I have a, I have a passion for almost anything I do. So
Hmm.
there's different things like with dolls that we've done where I get so excited. Different book projects we've done,
Right.
the exclusive dolls we've done. Every time I meet, like we just got back from Modern Doll Collectors
Okay.
Convention.
Yes. Wow.
Oh my gosh, just meeting collectors and the
Hmm.
artist is,
Yes.
oh,
The
it's
best,
such a
right?
treat. Yes, it is. These are the best people in the world because they're just so kind and generous and just lovely. I gotta
Yeah.
say, I
They just
mean,
want to show their work. They just want their work to be
yes.
appreciated. You know what I mean?
Yep,
That's really what
yep,
they want. So yeah.
yep,
Um, so I have a little, I have a really soft spot for Dolls magazine because when me and my friend Audrey created the Big Beautiful Dolls back in 1999. Good. That was like it's like forever ago. We really wanted to get into Dolls magazine because that was like the prominent magazine back then, even amongst all
yep.
the other doll magazines that were out. And we actually wound up getting an article written about us in Dolls magazine, and it was just like we won the lottery. It was just amazing because we were so excited that they actually acknowledged what we were doing. Just some little two women trying to trying to break into the doll industry with a plus size fashion doll. Like, what is that about? But so I really have a soft spot for them, and they just always had such great content in there too. I mean, when we were looking at different doll magazines, we really wanted Dolls magazine to be something. And plus, they were the ones that was doing the Doll Excellence. So Doll Excellence Award, I believe. Yes,
Yes.
yes, Dolls
Thousand
Award of
Words of
Excellence.
Excellence.
Yes,
Yes.
and we were nominated, and we got to see our picture in the magazine. It was just great. I mean, so I really have a soft spot for Dolls magazine because you guys, I think you've always done a really wonderful job at featuring artists, and giving them a platform. So I want to thank you for that.
Gosh, yes. You know
Yeah.
what? I think our goal as a brand is to bring the collector together with the artist. You need
Hmm.
each other.
Yeah.
You absolutely need each other. And that just brings me joy. When you see, oh gosh, when you saw the people at the show and they get the doll that they've been like, I was coming to the show for this, and the joy that it brings them. And it's it's probably the best feeling in the world.
Yeah, yeah. I was going to ask you to share some memorable stories or experiences you had while working with Dolls Magazine, but before that, I wanted to ask you a question because you mentioned that you just enjoyed the job that you did. Were you always working with just Dolls Magazine, or you're working with the other publications? And if you were, why did you enjoy that, especially since your career path was so different?
Oh gosh, I think you know what? You could stick me in a sewer and tell me to clean it, and I'd be like, okay.
Oh,
No,
that's so great. So you just have a
I
great
just
ethic for working and participating and giving.
right. And I'm
Yeah.
very task oriented. So if you give
Hmm.
me tasks to do, I just feel like I accomplished something. And I
Okay.
think that's why. So I've been working on every title only because we have six
Hmm.
brands. And the nice thing about having six brands in different industries
Yes.
is that the economy is down in one, you
Hmm.
can usually compensate with another.
Hmm.
So it allows us to keep what we have and keep doing it well, even if
Hmm.
like in 2020, 2021, you're not able to manufacture in China the way you were
Right.
with for the dolls. And
Hmm.
so then people they're like, I don't have any inventory. I can't get
Mm.
them made. And so then it put a wrench in the
Yes.
industry
Hmm.
of what we're able to do.
Right.
And so then, and that's when people are like, gosh, I can't advertise. I don't have any inventory. I have nothing to sell. And we're
Right.
like, we understand, but we're
Yes.
going to be here. We're here for the long haul. But yes, I think anything I set my anything that's put in front of me, I love to do things well. Probably, hopefully, be the first to say I don't do everything well, but I do my best, and
Hmm.
I'm just grateful for what I have.
That's so
I'm
cool.
so much to be grateful for.
Yeah, I love that. So what I wanted to know is when did Dolls Magazine transition over to digital? were you involved in that conversation as to like why you guys would do that?
Okay, so that was way before my time,
Okay, no
thankfully.
problem.
Now, I started in 2011. I know it was before that. I'm guessing it was mid 2000s,
Okay. Wow.
maybe.
Yes, probably.
I mean, it might have been later than than maybe it should have been at that point. I do know that when I started, when I bought the company, I was looking at all of our brands and I'm like, okay, where do we want to be in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years?
Hmm.
And I can tell you that things are changing quicker than I ever thought they would digitally.
Wow. Wow.
Um, like you look at like with the artificial intelligence now,
Yes.
like, and I'm going to be very honest. I'm not
Hmm.
ready. I'm not jumping on that bandwagon. I
Hmm.
want to provide a place for writers,
Yes.
photographers,
Hmm.
and everyone to be able to showcase their skills
Yes.
and not have to worry about,
Hmm.
that artificial intelligence
Yes.
factor when it
Right.
comes to Dolls Magazine. Um, I I'm old school, but also I'm looking forward to the future. So
Right. So
yeah.
how has the subscription, because obviously, you a lot of income and stuff comes from subscription and ads and things like that. When you're publishing, um, did the subscription go down? Did it decrease a lot when you went digital opposed to them getting a printed magazine?
So we still have the print,
Mm-hmm.
and we won't get rid of the print. Not
Thank
for
you.
any time soon. No, and I'm the kind of person too.
I
And
love print.
actually, statistics have shown that if the price is the same between a print and digital item,
Mm-hmm.
even the younger generations would rather have print.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's so much value to it. You get to it's
Yes,
in your
I love
hands.
it. Yes.
You feel like you can set it down, you can come back to it. When it's in an email, I hate to say it, but how many emails do we get a day now?
Too many.
Thousands.
Too
It can
many.
be hundreds to thousands.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. If I told you how many unread emails I have in my inbox, you'd be like, help her, somebody help her. It's almost 10,000 emails that I have not, that are
Wow.
unread.
I believe that because my email and it's a
Oh,
chore to actually delete everything that you don't need either.
right,
It's just
right.
like, oh, forget about it. Well, thank you for
And
reading
most,
mine. I appreciate that.
yes, of course. Well, and so if it's a real person, like, so there's spam, most of that is spam, just,
So it's a real
but
person.
I haven't taken the time to delete it either, the spam. But yes, that's probably my biggest downfall is if people see my unread emails in my inbox, they freak out for me.
It's like she needs
But
help.
yes, but I do read the email. I make sure every day that I've gone through every email that is a real
Right.
person that
Real
I need to
person.
connect
Right.
with. Persistence pays off, is what I
Yes, it
say.
does. It does.
Yes, but yeah, but I would say, like, as far as print goes,
Mhm.
we're strong.
Yes.
I'm very happy with where we're at
Okay, that's good. Okay.
with
So
that.
so you
So
so you subscribers kind of stay because you do still have print.
yes.
How do you collaborate with the doll artists and the collectors and the industry professionals like to bring unique and engaging content to the magazine?
So we work a lot with artists, obviously,
Hmm.
because in order to feature them, they have to share their
Hmm.
photos, their
Right.
creative genius, so to speak, with us. Uh, so and one of the things that I'm really proud that we've done is our doll exclusives.
Mm,
Uh,
okay.
so
Hmm.
we partner with them to promote an exclusive doll just for our audience,
Okay.
and it's usually a smaller run,
Hmm.
but we've done quite a few now. So that's one great partnership, and it's great for the collector too,
Right.
because you get a one of a not a one of a kind, maybe a one of 30 of a kind.
Okay. Okay. That's still good. That's still nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then the other thing we've done is we've done a few books. I think my favorite book right now, this was working with Anne Monday.
Hmm.
She did the Jean Marshall
Yes.
book. I think she has every single doll and outfit.
Wow.
That is that book is like one of my favorites.
It's a
Uh
beautiful book. I saw that.
it
Yeah.
is it's beautiful, and it tells such a great story about Jean and her
Hmm.
friends.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that I have to say that that's one of my favorite projects that we've done here.
Hmm.
So that's been exciting. And as far as the artist, one of the things that we kind of pride ourselves in is share your collection with us, share it
Mm,
with our readers. So
mm-hmm.
that's one of the things we've been doing. We also like to ask our collectors survey. We like to send out surveys asking questions,
Okay.
like, what do you want to see as far as articles, or,
Okay.
hey, how do you do this?
Mm-hmm.
And some of our future plans are working with collectors and artists who have skills that they want to teach,
Mm,
and
that's
bringing some of
great.
those,
Yeah.
yep, bringing some of those digitally.
Digital like training and
Yep,
things like that on what
yep,
they do. Okay, their
videos and that kind of
process.
a thing.
Okay,
Yep,
that's really
yep,
cool. That's cool. Now,
yep.
how do you get your art? Like in the beginning, I'm sure it was different, right? But how do you get your artists? Do you have a pool that you just draw from, or do you also do some of your artists also come from people referring them to you, or are you finding somebody on some social media and say, hey, we might want to feature that person? How does that work, or is it a combination of all three?
I think it's a combination of all three.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people contact us.
Mm-hmm.
Other times we'll be at a show. So at this last at
Mm.
Modern Doll, um, it was we met Anomalies is the name of the company.
Okay.
Um, oh my gosh, I have to. They're fun, and we did a video with them. It's on our Facebook page,
Mm-hmm.
which is facebook.com/dolls magazine.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's really cool what she's doing. And yeah, I would suggest you check them out. Bucket is, yeah, and it's a little unique. They're a little,
Mm-hmm.
I guess the word odd is in the name for a reason, but they're ball jointed and
Oh,
it's
nice.
really neat what she's doing.
Okay,
So
that's pretty cool.
infusing some, she's well, I guess we're all young.
Yes, we are. I'm gonna take
She's
that.
younger
I'm
than
gonna
I
take
am.
that,
Well,
Diana.
yes, she's younger than I am.
She's we're all
So
young. Yes, we are.
yes, but so we're always looking. We're always looking
Okay.
for, what's the latest, who's got a great
Hmm.
story, a great product
Right.
that they've created that they're proud of and that we can share.
That's pretty cool though. So they just submit stuff to you, right? They just find out who
Yep,
to submit stuff to. Okay. That's
yep,
pretty neat. I
yep.
like that. I like that. So you guys doing any more, like, do you do any more events that are hosted by Dolls Magazine?
We have not since 2010. We haven't done a
Wow.
show.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a long time, and I wasn't even around for that. I don't. So I was like, I should ask my father-in-law why that went down. Um,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know
yeah.
it was a lot of work.
Yes,
I
it
know
is.
that.
That's that it is.
And
That it
I
is.
have I have such a high level of respect for those who are putting on,
Events,
like
right?
Debbie Hood, of Austin BJD and UFDC and Modern Doll and all the doll shows that are out there. Like, you guys rock it. I and we just one of the things we like to do is partner with the shows as well.
Yes.
So
Hmm.
and depending on where the show is at and time of year, we will actually, like, we went to Modern Doll a few
Hmm.
years ago. Our editor went to UFDC,
Right.
and we definitely we want to be a part of what other people are
Hmm.
doing in the
Hmm.
doll industry to support them.
Right. So I know you've had really a lot of amazing experiences and stories and stuff like that while you've been working, not just well, for the company, I'm sure, because like you said, they have such diverse magazines too. It gives you opportunity to see all these different genres, right? But when you're working with Dolls Magazine, what was like, was there an artist that you really just wanted to meet and connect with and highlight, that you got a chance to do that? And who was that? I'm not trying to call anybody out. I'm just
Nope.
saying I have, I love a lot of doll artists, but my favorite doll artist was Byron Lars, because he really helped me start collecting dolls. So, but you always have those fangirl moments, and so what were your fangirl moments? I guess I should ask from you. Working in Dolls Magazine.
It's like, Jack Johnston.
Oh yes! Oh my gosh! Yes.
So Joe, my father-in-law, him and Jack have been good friends for forever.
Hmm.
And Jack came to us and asked if we could publish one of his books. And I'm like, yeah. So we published his book, and I helped with that. With the editing, and then I am no designer. I'll tell you that right now. So designer put it together, but I had talked to him so much
Mm-hmm.
over the phone and was very excited
Mm-hmm.
when I found out he was coming to it was the International Doll and Teddy Bear Show. And I think were we in North it was either in North Carolina or Orlando. I can't remember
Mm-hmm.
when it was, but he said he was going to come and he would stand in our booth with us and work the booth. And I was
Oh,
like, oh, so I would have to say that was one of those where I was so excited to meet him just because
yeah.
of his history in the
Mm-hmm.
industry. Um, he won our Lifetime Achievement Award. I don't remember what year that was, but and anytime I get to meet a Lifetime Achievement Award winner in person, so like Berdine Creedy, oh
Mm-hmm.
my gosh,
Yes.
uh, met her at the International Doll and Teddy Show. That was I gave her her award, and she actually had a giveaway at the show, and I won one of her
Oh
dolls,
my,
and I
that
was
was
just
so
like,
cool.
I had yes, it. I think that was a really cool moment,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
to just be like, wow, I have a Berdine Creedy original,
That is
and
so
that was I
cool.
think her last show, and then she
Wow.
retired,
Mm-hmm.
so that made me feel even better. No,
So
but
you got to see her
I
and win
got one.
something. That is so
Right.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
I think those two people are probably the ones that I was most I mean, I'm excited when I meet anybody.
Yeah,
I
no, I
mean,
understand that. Yeah,
so
totally. But I mean, but it is those fangirl moments. It is those
yes.
moments when you're just like overwhelmed, but and excited at the same time. But it's
Yes.
just like I can't believe this is happening to me. So
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly.
That's so
So
funny. Yeah, I remember when we first started. When I first started in the Doll World show, I had a list. Of course, we had a list of who we wanted to be, on the show, and I cannot tell you how excited I was when Mel Odom came on. I mean, like all of the
yes.
people that you like you said, admire and just love their dolls. And when he said yes, I was just like, I just couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, this is so amazing,
And that
and
I have to say that's one of my favorite interviews you've done was
oh,
Mel.
thank
And
you.
I've talked to him a few times, but I would love to meet
He
him,
is
especially
so
now that since we've done that book.
yeah. Oh
Like
yeah, the book is fabulous. How do you guys keep up with all the the trends and the innovations and stuff in the doll industry? Like how does that work for you guys as a publisher of a doll magazine?
one of the things I always look at is Facebook, to be honest.
Oh wow,
Maybe
okay,
that
that's cool.
just because you can see, like a lot of the artists. So our dolls Facebook page follows.
Mm-hmm.
If a doll artist comes to our attention, we will follow them. And so if you are a doll artist out there, like our page because then we'll follow you back. But
Beautiful.
to me, like that's where the innovation is happening is, and it's not always easy to find. But that's
Mm-hmm.
why to me that's really a good resource
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
just seeing what other people are doing out
Right.
there. And everybody is so unique in what they create. I just like the uniqueness of everybody's creation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they deserve to have a voice and a place to share
Yeah,
what they're
me
doing,
too.
as opposed to you're not trending, so sorry. I don't feel
Right.
good about that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No,
But
I understand
but
that. Yes.
and I think every doll, well, I would say every doll artist I know is always looking at how they can, change their product, make it better. What's the next thing they can do?
Mm-hmm.
I've met a few people who, they're creating one of a kinds, and then they're like, oh my gosh, you know what? I bet I could do, a large run of my doll now. And so it's neat to see how they progress,
Mm-hmm.
over time
Right.
with even how their business is working. So it's very exciting.
Yeah. How do you look at marketing for what you do? You know what I mean? How does marketing play? I know marketing plays a big role in that because you're bringing in artists and you're saying let us feature you, but then you still have to market them because they're in your magazine, right? So
Yes.
what type of marketing do you guys do as a magazine company?
So a lot of what we do is we reach out to the doll shops, so that are throughout the United States.
Okay.
But also, so if there's a doll shop out there that watches this, please contact us about getting set up to get magazines shipped to your store. And then the other thing is working with doll clubs and
Mm,
the different
okay.
doll shows. just because that's where, if you're a doll
The bulk of
collector,
your audience is, right? Yeah.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
you go where people are like-minded,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a very targeted market, in all honesty. Like
Yeah.
me putting an ad for Dolls Magazine into US News and World Report. I don't even, are any of those magazines still out there? No, but do you know what I mean? Like, yeah,
Yes,
that was
yes.
useless,
Right.
so, so the goal is to get the word out just by reaching out to people who we know are part of that community.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
that's what
that
it looks
definitely
like for
makes
us.
sense. Yeah, that definitely makes sense because, like you said, it's the market is there. So whether even though you have doll artists that you're featuring, you still have to be in the doll space, right? To tell other artists about these dolls, but also give the other artists that
Right.
you're talking to an opportunity to be part of your magazine. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we also, like, if an artist is featured, one of the things that they just need to ask, let
Mm-hmm.
us know if you would like a copy of your article digitally that you can post on your
Mm-hmm.
website, put out
Mm-hmm.
on Facebook, that you
Right.
can send out to the world. Please
Mm-hmm.
just ask, and we'll provide you, with whatever you need to help market you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So,
Now, on you when you have outside writers that write for the magazine.
yeah.
Two questions: how big is the staff, and then how are those writers divided into different categories to write for, or do they just bring everything to the table and then you guys sort it out?
It's a really good question. So we have some just regular contributors that have their own column, like Glenn Mandeville has his own column.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to think. We have and then we just have set writers that write for us all the time. I would say we probably have, gosh, there's probably a pool of 10 writers that we'll
Okay.
pick from
Okay.
each issue. Sometimes we write in-house,
Mm-hmm.
depending on what time looks like. Because sometimes if we get a article idea that comes in really close to deadline, it's
Mm-hmm.
really hard. It's Most writers are going to be like, I need more time. So then
Right.
we'll just be like, you know what, we will write it in-house and we'll do the
Okay.
interviews and talk to people.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of rare, but it does happen.
Do you have writers for each particular area?
Well, and the thing I can tell you is we kind of know what the writers are good at. I think that's
Okay.
probably the way to say it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really grateful for the writers we have, just because they
Mm-hmm.
have that knowledge.
Right. Right.
Uh,
Right.
and oh my gosh, I got to tell you, so at Modern Doll, when it was their last banquet, we were at this table of amazing women
Mm-hmm.
whose doll history was so extensive. The stories they shared,
Mm-hmm.
the Betsy that was sitting next to me. Oh my gosh, I was like, we need to connect afterwards, because I honestly think these are the people who have like this. She does research on dolls, on
Wow.
various historical dolls, and I
Mm-hmm.
was like, oh my gosh, I would love you to write an article for us.
Right.
And
Right. Right.
so there's always those moments as well, like
Mm-hmm.
as we're meeting people
Right.
at various events, where we're
Mm-hmm.
like, holy cow, how do you know so much?
Right. Right. Exactly. You should be writing
So
for us or something. Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And so here at JP Media, I've got about 20 people on staff for our
Okay.
6 different brands. And then
Okay.
everybody pretty much knows Andrea. She
Mm-hmm.
does our advertising sales,
Right.
but or at least maybe the collectors don't, but the artists do.
The artists do. Right.
And then we have a new editor, Hannah. She's actually
Okay.
been with the company for over a year, but she trained with our last editor, Joyce. Joyce was
Mm-hmm.
the editor for, gosh, I think since 2011.
Oh wow. Okay.
I know, and she just retired. It was kind
Gotcha.
of sad. It
Oh.
was bittersweet, because I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, but Hannah has some big shoes to fill, but she's filling them great.
No,
So
that's wonderful. That's
yes.
wonderful.
So
Right.
there's probably throughout the company, I bet there's 8 to 10 people who work on dolls
Oh wow. Okay.
in various facets, be
Mm-hmm.
it from all the way from editorial to graphics to digital. And then
Mm-hmm.
of course accounting, because they're
Right.
important too.
Yeah. Yes, they kind of let you know that you're staying
Yes,
afloat of things,
yes.
right?
And my employees appreciate getting paid. So
Yes, that kind of that
that's
usually
important.
helps. That usually helps.
Yes,
I think you get
yes,
really
it
good
does.
writers that way, but
Oh gosh, yes.
yes, you do. Yes. Okay, let me ask you this: is there at least one future plan you could tell me about? Just
We
one you
have
could
some
share.
we have exclusives planned for the next year for 2024.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to go into who they are
Mm-hmm.
yet, and I'm hoping to do more book projects.
Oh,
Uh,
okay, nice.
but everything is still in the works, so I can't say anything. You know what I mean? Like,
That's why I said, do you have like one? Maybe you could share with us just one.
but it's all
Okay,
good.
so you have some future things coming up, and you have
Yeah.
some
Yes.
books. You're gonna be doing some more books, so that's great. I love that.
Yes. Yes.
I do. I just do believe that Dolls Magazine has to like shape the future for a lot of things in the doll industry because they're connected with so many artists and people within that community. How do you envision its role now in shaping new artists and people within the doll community?
Well, my hope is that we can reach the younger generations
Mm-hmm.
and give
Mm-hmm.
them a love for collecting dolls.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I do think with a lot of the new, like, there's some new innovations that artists are coming up with that I think makes it a
Mm-hmm.
little easier maybe for somebody to get in collecting.
Okay.
Uh, for example, if I'm a new collector, I'm at a doll show and a doll costs $1,000,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a new collector and I'm like, I didn't realize dolls were $1,000.
Right.
I
Right.
need a price point I can get in on, especially if
Right.
I'm younger.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I think, just providing an avenue for the
Mm-hmm.
younger collectors to
Okay.
move in where it's a feasible hobby,
Mm-hmm.
and passion and love that they can have.
Right.
And as we get older and we work and make money and decide how we're going to spend it, then you can
Right.
start making decisions like the $1,000 doll is in my budget because I put it there.
Right, exactly,
you know
exactly. Yeah.
um so but I do think a lot of I really do want to see a younger people coming in. I
Mhm.
the people who have been doing this for a while,
Mhm.
people like maybe us
Right.
and
Yes.
older,
Mhm.
who are still young.
Yes.
Age is just a number,
That's
but
true.
there is so much history and
Yes.
so much passion that they can share with that younger generation
Yeah.
that I would love to see that bridge built.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm passionate about.
Mhm.
And
And how do you think that is for the artists too in general? I mean, like seeing younger artists create things because there's so many
yes,
different new ways to create dolls nowadays. Is that something that you think would be envision your role? I think in being a magazine, helping shaping that role too, for
well,
artists, for younger artists to come in, and also more diverse artists.
sure, yes. Well, and I think where we can really play a role is being able to showcase the younger generations as they come up in their artistry.
Mm-hmm.
uh
Yes.
you know
Mm-hmm.
I do think that's part of the goal is
Yeah.
I like to think that we can be all things to all people, what I mean, like in the collecting world.
In the collecting
Yeah,
world,
you
right?
can't please everybody all of the time, and I
Right.
know there are times where why is it ball jointed and why aren't there fashion dolls and where are the reborns, and and there's this whole like,
Yes.
yeah, I want this. So I we're not going to be able to please everybody,
Right. Right. I
but
get that.
we do want to, provide an opportunity for artists to be
Mm-hmm.
seen by the collectors.
Right.
That's how they
Right.
get started.
Yeah.
So,
That's the truth. That is the truth. And then you do that well. So I want to thank you so much
well,
for
thank you.
that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah, you really do. Okay, so if anybody has never heard of Dolls Magazine, I don't know who that would be. But if they have not, just how can they find out about your amazing publication?
Sure. So, best place to start is our website, dollsmagazine.com. And if you are not a subscriber, you should just go there and subscribe.
Mhm.
It's fairly inexpensive in my opinion.
Right?
So
It is.
I'll leave that there, but please visit there. And then also on our Facebook page, if
Mm-hmm.
you go to facebook.com/dolls magazine, I've got quite a few interviews on there from the Modern Doll Collectors
Mm-hmm.
Convention. And then there's a few videos that I put together. So, and I did a really, I have to say, I'm proud of it, but it was Diana Effner dolls. So I
Okay.
interviewed Casey,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a fun interview.
Nice.
Heard a little bit about what they're doing, but they have one of the convention dolls, and somebody else shared a hilarious story
Mm-hmm.
of making the convention doll that you probably don't want to miss. So,
Okay. Okay.
so
Well, that's
Facebook is the
good.
place to find that one. Yeah,
Okay.
and I think that one is actually on our website as well. But I have to say, like, everybody was roaring laughing from the story. So, and I think they said they would never do a convention doll like that one
Like
ever
that
again.
one. Well, I think it's probably
So,
a story that everybody would love to hear about. So they should
yes,
definitely check that
yes.
out.
Yep, yep. And I plan, my goal is with our team. I have to say, I love our team is great. So Hannah and Andrea, like, they're kind of the hub of it all,
Mm-hmm.
and they're amazing. And I can't do what I do without them.
Right.
But we plan on doing more video interviews,
Right.
and
Right.
just
Mm-hmm.
to get the artists out there,
Yes. Yes. I get
in
that.
front of the collectors.
I understand that. That's very cool.
So
Very cool. Well, thank you so much, Diana, for being with us in the doll wall and sharing your experience and everything that goes into making and sustaining a doll magazine, because I'm sure it is not easy to do that, you know. But we really appreciate how long Dolls Magazine has been around, and we really appreciate the fact that you are at the helm and you're making sure that it continues to stay around in digital form and in print form, because I do love print. Honestly, I'm not a big reader on digital as far as magazines or anything like that. I like to have them in my hand and, you know, curl up on the bed with one. So I appreciate that, that is still something that you will continue to do. So again, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you being a guest on In the Doll World with us.
you're so sweet. Thank you. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Oh, thank you so much, Diana. Okay, everybody, guys, make sure you stay tuned for another episode of In the Doll World. And don't forget, you know, we are on Alexa. I can't say too loud how to get it on Alexa because then she starts up, but that'll be in the information at the end of the show. It always happens. As soon as I say that, she starts sharing the show. But it'll be our current episode on Alexa, and of course, you can find us any place that you download your podcast on. And please don't forget to leave a review on our website. We really appreciate any feedback or reviews that you have, and that'll be at inthedollworld.com. Again, thank you so much for your time, Diana, and hope to see you guys next week on a new episode of In the Doll World. Thanks so much. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.